somebody asked, like, do you think that Luke was ever like redeemed or anything like that? Or yeah, basically that sort of idea. Like, do you think he was ever like redeemed or saved? And he basically said like, I hope that he is like in his next life if he gets that. And he's like, but he basically said like, it's really sad whenever you see somebody that has a lot of opportunities to change what they're doing but they never take any of them,
Hmm.
and you just hope that after they die and they realize what they did, that the next time they go through life that they'll change how they act and not make the same decisions. And I was like, yeah, thank you, sir. That's exactly what we would say. That's exactly what I would say. I
Hmm.
say that about my own abusive, horrible dad. Is like, yeah, he had a million chances to not make the decisions he did, but he did. In the same way that like Luke had a lot of chances to change his mind, but he also didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so he's not, when he's saying that, he's not saying like, oh, Luke was redeemed by killing himself at the end of the book. He's saying like, no, he was never redeemed in the books that I wrote. There's just the chance of hoping that one day he will like not do that again. That's the only thing you can hope for.
And
But
maybe that is why Rick placed him at, like the Isle of the Blessed instead of somewhere else, is because I mean, if you go there, you can drink from the River Lethe and have a second life.
yeah. And
So,
honestly, when it comes to like the world, that the Greek god world, like Hermes was running interference for Luke for a long time. Hermes is one of the best known gods. He would use whatever favors he could get to get him in there, even if he shouldn't be there. And like as fans, we can think that Luke got knocked down to other places in the afterlife at a certain point too, because
mhm,
it is very upsetting to think about him being in the same place as his victims,
yeah.
especially a lot of the victims that were killed by him or because of him in the last book, for them to show up right after he killed them and only for him to be there with them in the afterlife too. And so it's one of those things of Hermes thinks that that's where Luke is, but they could have just lied to him and just told him that so that he would leave them alone. Because, and it doesn't mean that Luke would never get a chance, his like spirit, his soul would never get a chance to like redo things, but when you mess up life that bad, you should have to go in a timeout for a while
Yeah.
to like really understand how bad you messed up your life and how many people you actually hurt before you get to try again.